If you hate Melrose, if you hate HOA communities, and you're still thinking about making the move to Sacramento, California, today I unveil the top affordable community in Folsom, California that is super close to Folsom Lake and truly has it all with prices in the 700s. Man, this spot is awesome. We're going to unveil it today because honestly, some of the biggest gripes I hear from people are we don't want a brand new home. It's too dense over there. We got Melrose and we got HOAs. So guys, this community is pretty awesome. It's one of the biggest secret communities in Folsom, California. Let's get into the video right now. Okay, one of the main reasons we started doing these videos are because people do not like HOAs, do not like Melrose, and there are communities in the Sacramento area, but they're hard to find, and you might not even know about them. It's hard to kind of decipher which ones have HOAs, which ones don't, Melrose and all that stuff too. So Folsom is one of those spots that's super hot in our area. In the Sacramento, California area, Folsom is probably the most in-demand spot because it's so known outside the Sacramento area. But Folsom is an interesting one. You can't really do just Folsom as a plain, hey, this is Folsom as a city, these are the neighborhoods, yada yada, because it's a different landscape than most areas in Sacramento. In Folsom, you start to get on the incline. There's hilly areas that have some of the best views of downtown Sacramento, bar none. But there's also spots in Folsom that are right by Folsom Lake. And there's also all those new homes on the other side of the 50. So Folsom is a little bit confusing for a lot of people, especially if you don't want that new home thing. So that's why this neighborhood, Briggs Ranch in Folsom, California, is such a all-star community because, like I said, no HOAs, no Melrose, price in the 700s. And this community is nice because it's also super close by Folsom Lake. I mean, it could be honestly the closest community right outside your front door is like the green belt, and Folsom Lake is right there. So I really like this community, and honestly, no one's ever done a video on this community, so I kind of want to throw it out there for you guys to know that there are definitely solutions for you if you're not liking Melrose, you don't want HOAs, you want to keep it in the 700s, and you still want everything that Folsom has to offer. This is kind of Folsom in a nutshell, and this is Briggs Ranch. Let's jump into it. Boom. Okay, so here you go. Now, from downtown, you're looking about 34 minutes away. It's in Folsom. It's a little deeper into Folsom. What you're going to notice, too, is if you look here, it's not like, all the new homes are being built pretty much over here. And so they have access to the 50 right away. What you're going to notice is that the Briggs Ranch area of Folsom is close to the water, but it's also a little bit more of a drive out there. Not a huge amount, but it's also kind of out there. Now, it's by an area like what's called old time or old Folsom, right? Old historic Folsom, sorry. And that whole area is really, really nice. You got Chicago Fire Pizza, you got wine tasting rooms. It's where they do the tree lighting ceremony. And it kind of has that old kind of charm vibe, with the prospectors and all that stuff too. But one of the things that I noticed during summertime is that area specifically is packed with people that are doing paddleboarding, boating, and everything too. So one of the things I do love about Briggs Ranch is that it's right here, guys. I mean, honestly, it is super close to Folsom Lake, super close to everything that people love about Folsom. Boating, the natural beauty, like all that stuff. Folsom is just never more apparent there. And here it is. Here in relation to Folsom, here's where Briggs Ranch. And you can see that green belt right around it, which I just love. It's right there. And a lot of people don't talk about it, but for me, if I was going to move into Folsom, Briggs Ranch, I love the fact that it's like isolated, it's private, it's near a whole green belt, it's near the water, you can get a boat and everything too. I think this community is like an all-star. And then topped off with the idea that there's no Melrose or no HOAs. I just love that. Now, there's only under just a little bit over 2,300 homes in the area. So it's not too big of an area. There's not too many homes, and it's hard to find homes in that area specifically. The price point has been okay, like in the 700s and good. But the thing is, like, inventory is light. Now, housing styles, you're going to look, houses were built basically in the late 80s, early 90s for the most part. Some people have built custom homes out there as well too. Now, the big elephant in the room, and I always mention this to people, is the fact that, like, because of home insurance and you're close to the lake, make sure you talk to an insurance provider to make sure what your home insurance looks like, right? That's going to pretty much be the only elephant. Other than that, you're on SMUD, Sacramento Municipal Utility District, half the price of PG&E for electric, which we love. And the location, look at this, second to none. I just absolutely love the location of it. Now let's dive a little bit more into it. Boom. You're right by Folsom Point State Park. This whole park area that Folsom carved out, which is really, really sweet. I mean, like, In this park specifically, you got like the paddleboarding, boats, everything you could imagine. You got running trails, you got mountain bike trails. In my opinion, this is kind of what people expect when they come to Folsom. They just don't really know where to find it. Everyone's looking at the new home stuff or looking at stuff like right off East Bidwell and those kind of communities, which are still nice. But this is for the people who are basically saying, I thought Folsom would be right on the water. I thought I could get a house, decent, close to everything. This is that community. This is the community, in my opinion, as someone who came in from the Bay Area, that represents Folsom more than anything else, because of the home styles, because of the access to Folsom Park and Folsom Lake. Also, you got shopping close by too. Major shopping will probably do it at the Palladio, of course, but it's still really close by. Now, here you go. Briggs Ranch from Palladio, whopping 9 minutes. So it's not really that far. And as you drive down what's called East Bidwell, you're going to run into stores like Target, Home Goods, which I love, restaurants and all that stuff too. So there's a big kind of a stretch of like shopping that you'll be able to do, but pretty much the furthest out you're going to go, well, maybe like 11 minutes to Costco in Folsom, but for the most part, everything's super close by. There's a big Kaiser that's basically in Folsom as well too. And across the freeway where all the new homes are being built, you're going to basically get like what's called Dignity. You're going to get UC Davis Medical Center. You're going to get a bunch of medical. So hospitals are still pretty close by as well too. Main employers still in Folsom are like Intel. We got some other big ones as well too, though, too, developing and growing. It's a nice kind of diverse area for employment as well too. Like I said, schools and everything. Like I said, it's a fantastic spot. And it's kind of sandwiched in between like Eldorado Hills and Folsom too. So you have kind of like a nice mountains. You're looking at the mountains a little bit. You're looking at the water, but no HOAs and no Mellorews. Who doesn't love that, right? Folsom State Park. It's really, really nice. And as you can tell by these photos too, it's just right on the water. It's just right there. You can hike, you can bike, and you're right near Folsom Lake, which is just second to none in my opinion, because a lot of people move to Folsom for that, right? Look at that. Go out there. Everyone loves it, loves the community, picnic, paddleboarding, everything that lake life is supposed to be, you can get there, which is fantastic. Now, Briggs Ranch, like I told you, is in the 700s, roughly around 758. Now, here's the thing. In Folsom, the median home price hovers between $750 and $800. A lot of that is basically because Tri-Point built some homes, Canterley and Lariat, that sold like crazy, and it kind of put Folsom's price point a little lower. Briggs Ranch is a score. Like I said, it's one of those communities that it isn't necessarily about, how can I say it, like, oh, I'm going to go there, I'm going to see 5 houses, I'm going to pick one, I love the area, thanks Marks for the video. It's just a hard area to find houses. People do not like selling their houses in Briggs Ranch because they realize what they have. Communities that have no HOAs and no Mellorews this close to the water are very scarce. If you look in Granite Bay, all the communities are right next to the water, all have HOAs. And so for the most part, this is a coveted kind of a cute area community. Like it's just pretty amazing. I would definitely check it out. And if you don't know about Briggs Ranch, maybe you're not working with the right realtor, because Briggs Ranch should be one of those spots you're kind of isolating out. Like I said, everyone's worried about affordability and crazy stuff that's going on. You got like Toll Brothers building in Folsom Ranch right now for like 1.4 million. So a lot of people are freaking out about affordability. For me, the idea is that these houses in this community specifically with no HOAs, no Mellorews, are going to also allow you to buy more house. So I like it. I think it's nice. Airport also 48-minute drive. Not too bad of a deal. Unless you're flying out every day, that ain't bad, especially from someone like me who's in the Bay Area. Oakland is brutal. San Francisco is brutal. The Sacramento International Airport is so relaxed. It's almost kind of like what Oakland Airport used to be, maybe about maybe 15 years ago. So it's really, really chill, really relaxed, nice airport. They've done it right. Now, here's some home trends about the Briggs Ranch area. Like I said, the median home price, $750 here and there. Really, really cute area. Like I said, no HOAs. I love the area, and I definitely think it's an area you definitely need to check out. Not too many homes, and here's where the average home price is gone. And we're going to see, just honestly, like, one of the main reasons why I don't think this area has blown up is because one is not a lot of turnover in homes, and two is people just don't know about it. If you go to Folsom, you're looking at like Empire Ranch, you're looking at American River Canyon, you're looking at all the new home stuff. Some people who are looking at 2 millions are looking in like, Serpa or like the Lakeview communities. This is a nice area where you're still looking for that kind of community vibe. You're looking for like riding the bike on the streets. You know your neighbors. You have that 4th of July party. this is that type of community. It's really, really nice. And like I said, here's where it is, kind of lies between all the other communities. There's Empire, there's Willow Creek, there's like everywhere. The Parkway is close by as well too. But if you notice right now, Briggs Ranch competitively towards everything else is right there by the water. I mean, yes, you got the green belt, but man, I love that. Okay, so here we go. Here are the schools, and school's a big one for anyone. Now, let's fast forward over here real quick. Sorry about that. Folsom Cordova Unified School District. Now, this is what it looks like for the most part, and these are your schools. You got Folsom Hills Elementary School, and look at these scores. And like I said, don't look at this and basically base your schools on this video, right? Go to greatschools.org. Go to the schools, interview the teachers and everything too. That's going to be the best way of figuring out if the school is right for you. All schools are different, and schools are super important, especially if you're moving into a new area. Folsom schools, though, a lot of people that I've worked with specifically have basically wanted Folsom for the schools. Now, schools are subjective, so go to greatschools.org. But I think more than that, even if a school is ranked like an A or a 10 or a 9, you got to go into the schools, you got to interview, you got to talk to the teachers, the principal, and vibe it out to know if it's the right fit for your children as well too, especially if you're moving into a new area. That would just be my 2 cents and my opinion on it. So as you see, you got Folsom Hills Elementary School, Folsom Middle School. Really, everything's kind of close by. And then you got Folsom High, you got Vista High as well too, really right there. And all the schools pretty much till 8th grade are close right there. And like Vista's not that far away, and Vista's the high school in this area as well too, so it's not bad. And here's kind of how it breaks out as far as the school districts. If you are moving to Folsom, if you're moving to Rancho, if you're moving to wherever, guys, we have all these maps that kind of lay out where the schools are and everything too. So if it's something important and you're telling us, Mark, we need to know exactly this. We want that school district. We can help you out with it. We're one of the only relocation teams that actually has this kind of stuff available to us. So just let us know. And here you go. Now this straight up is all the schools. And these are like directly from Folsom Unified, like their schools. So this is Briggs Ranch specific. And you're Folsom Elementary, Folsom Middle, Vista Del Lago High School. They have a great lacrosse program. The school, though, is getting a little impacted, honestly. So it's a nice thing to actually be designated Briggs Ranch. This is where you're going. It's hard to get into Vista. Vista's not an easy thing for people to transfer into, but it's a great school. People love it. Like I said, boom. Okay, so here we're going to go over some of the houses that have closed. And you're going to go, oh, Mark, this is crazy. This house, you told me in the 700th. Yes, this is kind of the outlier. You have some of these houses in Briggs Ranch too. You have stuff going over $1 million, and they're really, really nice. Square footage is there and everything too. Beautiful house. I saw the interior of this house. I was blown away. But here's basically what you're going to look at. You're going to look at 850s. You're going to look at 825s, 782s, 715s. This is kind of more like what you'd be looking at, 2,000 square feet in the 700s, depending on like what you're looking for. But the beautiful part about some of these homes too is the fact that you can kind of tell the houses are set back. Nice land and everything too, trees. It's just kind of like what everyone kind of wants in a community. But for me, like I said, I know you guys always hear me on this channel saying this stuff too, but I love the idea of, there's a little bit more space between your neighbors, and also houses are set back a little bit. 1 for road noise, 2 for privacy, and 3, the main one for me at least, is I love the curb appeal of a nice driveway and a nice front yard. So this is kind of what it looks like, right? So if like you're thinking to yourself, man, I didn't think I could get into Folsom. I mean, look at this. This is still, the prices here are nice. And I didn't pull up all of them. We had a bunch more still in the 7s too for you. But I kind of want to show you a little bit of the range. That way, if you were searching, you were like, oh man, something came up for 900. Yeah, now and again, one will, but for the most part, it stays in the 700s. Like this one for 850, close to 3,000 square feet. It's nice. You know what I mean? You're going to see some of these houses too. And this is probably, my guess, is the old school Folsom. And what I mean old school Folsom is normally what you see in some of these houses in Folsom. You walk in and the living room's on one floor. You climb the stairs, then you got the kitchen on that floor with maybe the dining room as well too. And then you walk down some more stairs and you get another living room. And then you have the staircase going to the second floor. So normally that's kind of what you see in some of these old houses, older Folsom homes. Some people like it. They can break up the space. They can put like the kids in one area, and then, parents in the other area. Some people like that. A lot of these homes in Briggs Ranch also have pools. big backyards as well too. Like this is, like I said, one of the things that I think is lacking a little bit in the new homes. You got mature trees all around, you got them set back. The backyards definitely are nice size backyards, and a lot of these backyards back up where you don't have neighbors. You just basically have the open green space, which is just awesome. Like I said, it's a really nice spot to live. And if it was me and I was saying to myself, I want Folsom, like I said earlier in this video, Folsom's an interesting one, right? Because there are those areas that are really kind of almost Eldorado Hill-ish, like Serpa, the Lakeview communities, Empire Ranch. And then there are these areas that are like, like the American River Canyons, where you're driving through these nice tree-lined streets, but you're going up, up, up. And then you have these cute communities that are like Briggs Ranch, where it's like right near the water. And for me, if I was someone who maybe owned a boat, and I don't, maybe I'll get that for the holidays, never know. I would love the idea of moving up to Sacramento, maybe choosing Folsom, seeing the reason why it's like not that close to it's close to downtown, close enough to downtown, and basically have that kind of lifestyle, but not have to go over $1 million. I think a lot of people will look at certain communities and especially Folsom, they'll say, hey, look, if I want something that's not a new home, I'm probably going to be paying for like $850, $950, or something over $1 million to get anything I want. Now, if it was me and I was looking specifically in Folsom and Folsom was the spot I wanted to, I would basically outline exactly this area so that my realtor would know exactly what I'm looking for. And like I said, guys, we know Folsom left and right. So our team can definitely work with you, and we'd love to. If you're thinking Folsom is a spot for us, or maybe Folsom, maybe Rockland, maybe El Dorado Hills, we could jump on a call with you and tell you a little bit of the difference of all these areas. And there are huge differences. SMUD, PG&E, home insurance, home styles, when they were built, schools, the whole 9 yards. And that's kind of what we're all kind of about. Now let's go into the Sacramento Real Estate app, which you can download in the Apple Store or the Android Store, and show you a little bit about the scarce inventory in Briggs Ranch. Okay, so as I mentioned before, here is kind of the Sacramento Real Estate app where I drove around the Briggs Ranch area. And for the most part, there's just not a lot of inventory that comes up for sale. Even in a market where we traditionally have more inventory, the Briggs Ranch area, there's just not a lot of turnover. A lot of people will give houses to kids and all that stuff too. So it's just hard to find. Now over here, before we get started, here you're going to find some some condos, some stuff right over here that is a little bit more affordable if you kind of want to get into the Briggs Ranch area. There's also food options as well too, which are nice. But here's traditionally what we're looking at. And like I said, there's pretty much only, I think, one home available in here. Here we go. And you're going to see it's kind of like this. It's in the 8s right here too, but look at this house style. Set back, really, really nice. Probably late 80s, I'm guessing. Nice trees. Really kind of a cute area. And like I said, for me, I love the idea that houses are set back. I love the idea that you're surrounded by nature. And it's just cute, for me, you're going to see a little bit more of the old school Folsom. Like I said, the houses in the new home area are kind of broken in a little bit better. Like the space for the open floor plan is a little bit better. This one, like I said, has that living room that you walk into, stairs, and kind of like the elevated kind of kitchen area. And they're still nice, and you can do some kind of remodeling and everything too. But that's kind of what it looks like as far as it. And like I said, here's Briggs Ranch again, and there's just not a whole lot of inventory ever in this area. But again, like I said, if it was me and I was thinking about maybe buying in spring or buying in summer, I would basically, number one, download the Sacramento Real Estate app and highlight this area. And then if anything pops up, I'd probably send it over to your team and say, hey, look, can you guys take a look at this? Because this is an area, like I said, that's completely undervalued in the Folsom, Sacramento, California area. Seriously, no HOAs, no Mellorews, this close to the water. Like I said, the only big elephant, like I said, is insurance. Just make sure you double check that. But as far as walkability, this one is great. If you're someone who likes mountain biking, hiking, paddle boarding, this is a fantastic community vibe. Straight up awesome. So now let's get into the maps, and I'll show you a little bit about what these houses and what this community looks like firsthand. Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to do, basically bring in Google World. So here you go. Folsom Lake is really super close by, and here's Briggs Ranch. As you can see, it is kind of sandwiched between green space. You got walking trails, you got BT Collins Park, but this, for me, I just love. You got all these walking trails, natural, if you like hiking, mountain biking, if you are a photographer, which I am, I love that part of it. I love the idea if you have a boat, you can launch a boat as well over here too, paddle boarding. This is one of the things I think a lot of people come to Folsom for, the natural, like hiking, biking, you're close to nature. This is kind of what it's all about, and you're not paying PG&E, which is another thing I absolutely love. Let's look at it from this direction. And here is Briggs Ranch, right butted up to this nice area. Look at that. Man, this is just cute. All right, so what do we got? House styles. Like I said, majority of the house, I'd say 2/3 of them are probably going to be 2-story homes, and I'd say a third are single-story homes. And you do have your $1 million homes, like I'm guessing this one is, with a nice pool in the backyard. Look at that. Oof, that is nice. But for the most part, what you're going to find in Briggs is, for the most part, let me see if I can find like communities like this, right? You got some solar going, cute houses in the 7s. Kind of, a lot of 2-story homes, like I mentioned before, but you got that commute kind of cul-de-sac living. And like I said, this community for me is so hidden. I mean, I never hear anybody talking about it, but for me, if I was thinking about moving to Folsom and I wanted something in the 7s or something, even in the 8s, like it's still a hard thing to do anywhere in Folsom, but like here with the water close by, paddle boarding, access to like Folsom, old Folsom, historic Folsom. I mean, you just kind of have everything at your fingertips. You also got where is that? You got an elementary school right here as well too, right in the heart of the community. So you can just walk the kids to school. And, you got walking trails everywhere as well, too. I mean, this is just so nice. And as you can see, it's isolated from Folsom a little bit, too. I mean, it's kind of sectioned off. So if you don't know where Briggs Ranch is, unless you have a realtor that really knows the area well, you're really not going to know to zone in on this spot. But for me, like I said, it's not on the hill. It's not going to give you those views that Serpa has, El Dorado Hills has, or Empire Ranch has, or even American River Canyon North. But it is going to give you access to the water. So if you're someone who's always dreamt about having a boat, if you're someone who wants a community vibe, and if you're someone like me who does not like HOAs and does not like Melrose, because you realize that without those, you can qualify for more home, and they're just a little bit it's a community that's already built up. This is an all-star community to check out, and I definitely would. And of course, reach out to our team. We can show you this community and a bunch of other niche communities that you probably never even heard about if you're someone who doesn't like Melrose or HOAs and still wants to make the move to Folsom in the 7s. We got you. All right, guys, it took me about 3 days to put this video together for you guys, so please smash that like button. If you have any comments or questions, put them below. And like I said, if you're thinking about moving to Sacramento and you hate Melrose, you hate HOAs, and you're still thinking Sacramento, California is where I want to be, guys, Folsom is a city that you need to check out, and Briggs Ranch, no HOAs, no Melrose, this community is top notch. Now, we have another playlist for you right over there. It's of all the communities, little niche communities that you're never going to hear about. So click on that. You're going to enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe. Until next video, guys, this is Mark. Have a good one.